a little boy. I was young and now I'm old. But at the same time, she verified that there was a pole sitter on the courthouse square when I was a child. So I did see that with my own eyes. But at the same time, I'm glad to see all of you here today. Can we ask the Lord would help us today and encourage us for a long time? Savior, we're very thankful for that, of your goodness, your mercy, for allowing us, oh God, to possess this land, to inherit the properties, to inherit the possessions of faith and hope. Bless, oh God, this gathering today, and bless, Lord Jesus, our neighborhoods as we gather together today, and we consider, Lord, the future with you in mind. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
We're going to begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll now ask Susie Dyke to come and read the minutes from our last meeting.
Good afternoon. On August 10th, 2024, Carroll County Old Settlers held their 169th annual meeting at the Delphi Pentecostal Church. Certificates of recognition were given to Brown's Revintage Furniture Shop for 10 years of providing the restoration of items in need of repair, and the Wabash and Erie Canal Incorporated for their 50th anniversary. Nick Brown, owner of Brown's Revintage Furniture Shop, and Mike Tetrault, executive director of the Wabash and Erie Canal Incorporated, accepted the gifts of recognition. Organizations or entities that have significantly endeavored to enhance, promote, preserve, and protect the heritage of Carroll County's past. Camp Tecumseh in Brookston is celebrating their 100th year. They were established in 1924, and this was given in 2024. So 100 years ago, they started out with approximately 70 campers, and last year, nearly 6,000 summer campers from 28 states and 5 countries attended camp. They also have year-round programs, which include approximately 10,000 students in outdoor education, approximately 25,000 guests served outside of summer camp, and 371 total outdoor education groups and conferences groups served. Camp Tecumseh's motto is, God first, the other person is second, and I am third. French Post Park along the Wabash River in Adams County, Adams Township it should be, celebrated their 100th year in 1923. They were, the area was home to a French fur trading post run by Jean-Baptiste Duray from 1820 to 1823. In 1923, a group of interested individuals purchased the land and a park was created. In the early 2000s, tent camping sites were established and picnic tables were added. The Flora Community Club celebrated their 100th year in 2023. The Flora Community Club has been active in the 4-H fair, building the Seiko factory, and restoration of the Flora Depot Railroad and Local History Museum, to name a few. Attendance awards were given to Bonnie Maxwell for the oldest woman, Joe Flores for the oldest man, Weston Steigers for the youngest, Russ Schoenfield traveled the farthest, and the LaFawn family the most descendants. Excuse me. Thank you to Drew Sandor for covering the meeting on Facebook and YouTube, Reverend Lee Stevens, the Delphi Pentecostal Church, and the Boy Scouts for helping with the meeting.
Hello. When we gather as a committee to just sort of converse and say, what are we going to do for this year's Old Settlers meeting, we kind of brainstorm of what has happened in our community and how it's benefited the community, Carroll County. And so we have certificates of recognition, and our first one this year is awarded to the community thrift shop in Flora. And if anybody has not seen it, it's in the old dime store building, and it's really a gem, I think, for your community. The community thrift store participating churches, and the way that is done, the churches get to be the recipients of the income. And so some of the churches that are represented is the Cutler Presbyterian Church, the Fountain of Grace Church, the Flora Presbyterian Church, the Living Faith Church of the Brethren, and the Valley View Baptist Church. This is a volunteer run organization, and I think it's extremely beneficial to the community. It allows all of us people to take things there that are usable, and then, you know, it sort of gets recycled. Somebody comes and buys it. So it's just a win-win situation. And I think it's important that we give credit to Dick and Jane Bishop purchased that dime store when it became available. And that's where the thrift shop is located. And they deserve a lot of credit for their insight into thinking how important that could be to the communities. And so accepting is Sarah. Would you like to come forward? And whoever else you wish to come? Okay. And perhaps you can say something about it. You know lots more than I do. So.
Well, thank you. We're honored. We just got done working at noon, so we had to run home and get over here really quick. I just want to say one thing. The donations, and we pay our rent. We don't owe rent. Bishop's bought the building for us. We pay our utilities. We pay our cost. Any of the extra money is actually goes to 5 churches, which is mandated for missions. And I'm missions from Flora, Indiana, Delphi, Indiana, Carroll County, all over the world. We're not limited to where we can give our money to. We are so blessed. I mean, so blessed. It truly is a gem in our little community, but that's because of all the donations and you people that shop there. I mean, it's fabulous. You know, we're open 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 9 to noon. And we work Mondays. That's our day to kind of just rearrange stuff and move around. Anything else? Oh, the other thing is these are board members with me. This is Barb Pierce and Rita Lucas. And the other thing I want to say is that, my mind is just, I just love getting old. Our bylaws state that we do have to have one specific Carroll County mission, non-for-profit, that we do support. Now, our church supports Birthright of Delphi. So other than that, it's pretty much wherever and whoever. So if you have needs out there, let us know. I mean, we have no problem with it. You guys want to say anything else?
Food pantry.
Yeah, we do the food pantry, the food trucks, you name it. I mean, it's,
Helping the schools this year.
yeah, we've helped. We do a lot. They're really good about going in and paying off all the school lunches. And it's not just Flora. I mean, we support Delphi, we support Rossville, and we also support the Flora Carroll schools. So we kind of just spread it around. We are so blessed. Keep coming. If you've not been there, come see us.
And the windows always look nice.
Well, don't look right now, but yes.
Great job with
Thank you.
that. I mean, it's appealing to the community as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's a very worthwhile.
It's a lot of work, but
So it's an honor to present the certificate for the recognition of
very nice.
endeavor. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I would like to tell you a little something about the Delphi Lions Club, and their motto is "We Serve." They just celebrated their 75th anniversary in May, and they have about 38 active members. Some of the projects and fundraisers include the Riley Park Pavilion, which they built and donated, sponsors of the Leader Dog Pup Program. They conduct eyesight screening tests for hundreds of children. They organize the annual Independence Day and Christmas parade in Delphi. And their biggest fundraiser is their annual citrus fruit and nut sale. So if their members would like to come forward.
I'm Brad Fisher, current president for this year of the Lions Club. We have Dick Bradshaw and David Maxwell, longtime members. We have a great group. We're very appreciative of the fact that you can honor us this way. And they know me as a talker, but in front of a group, I'm kind of clamming up. Another great one who was our president last year is Gil Smith. I'm sure a lot of you know Gil and his family. And I was going to hand the microphone off to him, but there's no Gil, so everybody seems to know what the Lions do.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is we are always looking for new members. So our group, like many groups, is dwindling over the years, and so we're always looking for people that want to serve the community, because that's what we do.
Advertisement, there you go.
It's important to remember that the Lions Club have taken on a lot of projects that others couldn't take on or didn't want to take on, and so we're very proud of that. We have an incredible group of people who are very active and who also follow the motto that we serve, and we love to do that, and we enjoy our club and we enjoy our community.
And we're serving ice cream right now, so when this
Yeah.
is done,
Head uptown.
go visit the ice cream trail.
We are proud to award our certificate of appreciation to Oakdale Dam. We have a big body of water, it wouldn't be here without it. and there's a lot of power generated all over that area of the state. Wouldn't be without either. So, Oakdale Dam, designed and commissioned in 1925, 100 years ago, and currently owned by NIPSCO. Now, I have an interest in NIPSCO, interest in the dam, because my brother and sister-in-law lived in little houses there by the dam, but that was my brother-in-law's first job. That was his meat and potatoes. So, anyway, the Earth Gravity Dam on the Tippecanoe River is primarily built for recreation purposes, but also serves for hydroelectric benefits. The dam is approximately 1,692 feet long, 58 feet high, and has a 15-foot wide controlled spillway. Now, Carroll County's role in the dam was that there was a spur line built from Yeoman to carry dirt and rocks to the dam. Later on, after the dam was completed, the mess hall from the dam was used to build the current country club and other benefits. So we seen fit to award Oakdale Dam.
We're going to present the Heritage Awards. The Heritage Awards may be presented annually to a deserving person, persons, or families, organizations, or entities that have significantly endeavored to enhance, promote, preserve, and protect the heritage of Carroll County's past. So I'll ask Carolyn to come forward. One of the recipients of the Heritage Award this year is, we're honoring the owners of the Moore Block building, which doesn't mean a lot to most people, but then we say the Blue Moose, and everybody knows that. So it's the building on the corner, and this is an 1863 Italianate. The Moore Building is located on the corner of Main and Washington Street. The builders were Cameron and George Moore. In the past, it has a colorful past. It's been the home of numerous things. It was a general merchandise and agricultural implement store. It was a clothing store. The Bowen Bank, the Delphi State Bank, the Union State Bank, the Union Bank and Trust, which I remember that. I remember going in there and there were these bars on the windows as you approached and you thought, wow. And then the Moto Day clothing store, but it's currently and has been enhanced greatly by the owners of the Blue Moose. Would you come forward? You would like to just tell a little bit of what you've done to enhance the building. Introduce yourself and your son.
I'm Mark Mendel. This is my son Nicholas. We bought the building, 10 years ago, and we just started from scratch. We just gutted everything. Me and the previous guy that was buying it, Craig Madison, we put new plumbing in, did all that stuff, and then the aesthetics, that's all this guy here. So I'll let him go over everything else we did. I did the mechanicals, but he made it look nice.
So I was the cheap labor. I was 16, so mom and dad were opening the restaurant and wanted to make it kind of cool. Didn't know entirely what I was doing, so I was kind of figuring stuff out during the summer. We fixed the bottom up, and then basically after high school, it was either going to college or here's this big, 20 by 80 place that you can fix up, make your own. So gutted the whole place out. It had about 8, 9 different rooms in it with like a second floor, with a 7-foot tall ceiling. So gutted that whole place out. Now it's about 13-foot tall ceiling. We got like 2 rooms in it, and it's like a big open concept. So a lot of work. I learned a lot of stuff along the process. And then we got the 3rd floor above. So that was kind of the creepy area, I'm not going to lie. So there was like a stage in the far back. It was really dark. All the windows were basically boarded up. So in this last 2 years or so, have put a lot of money and a lot of time into that. So basically we busted everything out, 160 years worth of dust and junk up there basically. Threw it out the back and then put all new windows in the front. It used to have like a small little hatch up to the roof with a ladder. So we busted all that out and put like a nice entrance up to the roof, so like a nice staircase and all that. So the whole point with that is to be my head studio for my business up there. The second floor is my apartment office right now, but that'll be like a lounge area. And then you have the restaurant that we just renovated down on the bottom floor as well. So that one also, it was kind of one of the projects I wanted to do. So if you guys haven't been in there recently, we've remodeled that quite a bit. So obviously it was quite a bit different when we first started, and then now just gutted the whole place out again and just remodeled it and branded it up a little bit. So it's been a lot of work, but it's right on the corner, so we want to make it look really nice and just kind of be a really cool spot in Delphi. So hopefully you guys haven't seen too much wild stuff on the second floor, but that's where I live right now, but just kind of keep all the lights up there and stuff. But yeah, no, it's been a fun project. Learned a lot along the thing, and we've had a lot of good response from everybody around the community. So thank you, and I guess that's it.
I want to say one more thing. We did have a lot of help from the city of Delphi and Delphi Main Street as far as some grants to help pay for the windows. Much appreciated, much appreciated. And it's out there for anybody else that has businesses around the downtown area. So just reach out to one of the Main Street members and we'll be glad to help you. So thank you everybody for your support.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm handing the mic to the next person. Mark.
It is my pleasure to award the house on the square today. On South Market Street, on the west side of the courthouse square, stands a three-story brick and the oldest building surviving today. It was most likely built in the mid-1850s by Dr. George McFarland. It first had two front doors, perhaps one for business and the other for residence. Dillinger Grocery was on the front left side in the early years. John Clark, a dry goods merchant in the 1870s, lived there for many years. In the early 1900s, it was a boarding house. Among the residents who've owned the house is Charles Clay Pearson, county clerk in 1916 and 24, mayor of Delphi in the 1930s. Ann Dewar Brooks, you've probably heard of her, had her home in-home hair salon there, 1962 to 1997. Ann's daughter Claudine, here in the audience, and Ann's daughter Linda Brooks are the current owners. The house on the square has been in the Brooks family for 63 years. Not bad. So, come forward. This all look nice on your wall. Yes, it yeah. Thanks.
My mother rented the house around 1962 and had a beauty shop there, and then she purchased the house, I'm not really sure when, somewhere around 1968, 67, somewhere in there. And it has an attic, a finished attic, and Linda and Bob lived there. Bob fixed it up, and Linda and Bob lived there, and after they went off to the service, my husband and I lived there, a little two-room apartment, and it was really nice. You had to, Mother would ring a bell on the basement door, and it would ring upstairs so you knew to answer the phone. So you lived up there very cheap. All you had to do was pay for electric, and Mom paid for the other stuff, water, whatever. David and I presently live there. We've lived there now for 14 years. Back from Chicago, and Linda and Bob came back to Delphi. When did you come back? When did you come back? 2014. And we came back 2011. So we're in the house. We love it. It's work. It's it's like owning a boat. You have to put a lot of money into it, but but we like it. So thank you for the award. We really appreciate it. Very nice. I know what I'm doing.
Well, it's my honor today to present to the Bringhurst Community Church, being recognized for their Heritage Award. The Bringhurst Community Church celebrated a 150-year anniversary last year after the Old Settlers meeting in August, so we are recognizing them this year. Originally, the church building was long and rectangular. The pulpit was at the west end and was flanked on each side by long, straight-backed pews. The pews to the south formed the Amen corner, and those to the north were for the choir and musical instruments. The building was heated by 2 large stoves in the midway in the room, and I'm assuming those were wood-burning stoves. In 2019, Pastor Bradley and Gail Burton came to serve Bringhurst. So it's my honor to present, if Mr. Burton would come forward. You can bring your entire group, and we'd love to hear from all of them. I'll pass that to you.
I will let Debbie, this is yours to hold.
You're going to hold it? And there's the mic.
So I am kind of passing around here a little bit because I've just been a very small part of this church. I think if I figured it right, Dave Maxwell, I need help, 3%, right? 5 years and 150 is 3%, right? So something like that. So I've been a very small part of this church and where it's come from, and more excitingly, where it's going. A lot of heritage in this church. They've I'm gonna pass it around, huh? They've done so many things in ministry over the past, and again, we're going to continue to do that. This is Mary Ellen Zinn, Dale Zinn, Debbie Kingery, Janet Ayers. How'd you guys get split up? And Bob Kingery. So, yeah, they're cousins there. This is kind of the Ayers side, and this is kind of the Zinn side. And their families have played a very important role in coming to this point, too, and making a difference. I think it's really important. And I think I'd be amiss if I didn't say, really, we're just accepting this award for a great and wonderful, powerful God that's willing to work. And the Spirit of God moves and makes a difference in everything that happens in the church. And it got me to thinking, it's a scripture I used a couple times last year as we walked through this neat celebration, this benchmark. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin, I didn't put my glasses on, and the sin so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. And I think the Bringhurst Community Church has done a fantastic job of running that race, and it is exciting to be part of it. Dale, would you like to say something?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm 88, and I've been going to church there 88 years. I don't remember the first 3 or 4. And I did skip a couple years and went to Lockport to get this young lady. She was George and Norma Peterson's daughter. And so I had a great time up there, and I taught Sunday school. And then I don't remember what she said about the church, the long, whatever she said there, but I do remember we had 2 Sunday school editions, and my brother was in charge of the first one, and back then the members were younger, and we actually did almost all of the work. And of course, being a Zen, we donated all the cabinets and that type of thing. And then the second time that we went, I designed actually both of them. I designed the second one, and we gave another kitchen and a lot of work there, and also did some interior-wise to memorize Greg Zinn. Some of you may know him. He was my nephew, and he's a great guy. He died early, and so did my parents. Died very early. My mother at 54, my dad at 58, and then Greg he started getting heady. Well, he died suddenly at I think 60 or 63. And so I feel very blessed to be 88, I'll tell you that. And yeah, we need to tell somebody about the new child care.
We'll do that, yeah. I'll let Debbie say something if she wants.
And Janet and I are first cousins, and our great-grandparents, DeMarses, went to church there to Bringhurst, and our grandparents, Forrest and Blanchers, went, and then our great-grandma Hattie, heirs went there, and so we've got deep family.
Very deep roots.
Yeah. And Bob was a Church of the Brethren, so we went 25 years to his church, and then he came our way. So.
A lot of recruiting going on over there.
There, Janet.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say, it's just such a wonderful, loving church. I love going to church there. It's very meaningful, and we appreciate this award. And I know, Mark, you've done a lot of research on the windows there, which are just gorgeous, all of which have meaning to all of us because of our families.
Yeah. We appreciate that report too. It's pretty lengthy and pretty in depth, and when you can track down the meetings and the memorials that come along with the church, it's really important.
And
again, that's, yeah,
right.
there
And
is.
the woman that donated the money for the windows, Barteski, I can't think of her first name now. Anyway, she lived where we live now, and Benny Barteski, and she had no surviving children. They died in infancy, and she went there to Bringhurst Church, and her estate donated all the money for the windows. And then different people would donate or be as a memorial to their loved ones then, and all the brass nameplates are still on the windows then. But yes.
Even the new people, Mark? Yeah. So we'll wrap this up, hopefully. Yeah, new blood, and the new blood that got that calling late in life to be a pastor. There you go. Did you did?
Well, I got
Are we
one
good
more
on time?
thing. We've done business, most of you know this in Kitchen name, but and I've always lived within a mile of the church. And people ask me why we went to Bringhurst. Well, that's where we started, And at one time, there was a lot of business in Bringhurst. We had hardware store. We had a couple, huckster trucks. That was the big thing. Had like 7 or 8 went out there every morning. Now, I don't remember that very well, but anyway, it was there. People, they wonder, Bringhurst, what's that or where's that? I say, what's a suburb of Flora?
That's true. That's what I say too. The church has done some amazing ministry in the past, a lot of community outreach. As the church aged, as they got older, it's that typical thing that happened is a lot of youth either decided that they didn't need a church home or maybe they moved away. We have that process in Carroll County where we have that deficit thing, I don't know what they call it, but of young people moving away. So they've still continued to do financial things. We had a new opportunity coming up soon to actually sponsor a preschool. And we prayerfully considered it. We went into it and we said, do we have the energy? And that may sound like a weird question, but it's, do we have the energy to engage in a preschool with all these young people? And everybody pretty much unanimously said yes. So on August 20th, we are actually going to engage in preschool. There's 2 different classes, ages 2.5 to 5, and we're really looking forward to that as our next level, as our next journey in where we're going as a church. So again, thank you very much for the award.
Well, following a church, I just need to tell you that I'm a collector of all things old. Right, Ed? And I collect this stuff because nobody else wants it and they think I have the room for it. So I have a stack of Bibles that sit on, I have them displayed on the buffet in the dining room, and they're about 2 feet tall. And this is after I've given some away. But these Bibles have been in the family, and I just can't get rid of them. So I decided to use Bibles as Christmas gifts one year, but I wanted to have them restored. And that's when I first met our next guest that's going to present about Bibles. He restored 3 Bibles for me, and I sent them to our 3 children, and they're Bibles that have been in the family, and inside there were a lot of things that were really interesting in those Bibles, and I appreciated his work very much. So here to speak to us today is Eric, and he has his wife Margie with him, Eric Haley of Leonard's Books, LLC. Now, it hasn't always been Leonard's Books, LLC, but he's going to explain to you why now it's just books and how busy he is. Eric?
Thank you, Winnie. You're welcome. Well, good evening, afternoon, maybe morning for some of you. I don't know how late you sleep, but it's good to see some old faces. I don't want to say old people, just people I haven't seen in a long time. Tim, it's good to see you again. Mark, always good to see you. There's just, we're all growing old together. Together is the most important thing. It really is. And I'd like to give you just a short background and then give you what we have here to show you what we do. My father was Leonard Haley from Leonard's Antiques and Used Furniture in Lafayette, Indiana. Some of you may have been customers of his. If you were, you're getting old. Because that's been a long time ago. He started his business in 1972. I was a kid. I was a teenager. And so he taught me a lot of things about antiques. When he died in 1988, I took over the business. And in 1989, we moved to Burroughs, Indiana. You talk about small. Burroughs, we're trying to put Burroughs on the map with our business. Now, right now, I think if you had a rather large map and a little very fine point pen, you might be able to get that size down, right? But it's a pretty small town, and we're the only business in that town. But we moved our business from Lafayette to Burroughs when we had gone from antiques and used furniture to antiques and books, and then just to books. And all that time, I was working on learning about books and how to restore them. And my need to do that was because that was the one thing my father would always give me was books, because he didn't like selling them. He would much make a lot of money off of selling used furniture and antiques. The used furniture was actually the bread and butter of that place. But books, he was had a green thumb for making money, for sure. Right? But a little bit of illogic in all of us. But he said, you can't make money off of selling books because you can only get 50 cents out of a book. And I told him that's because you only price them at 50 cents. Mm-hmm. So I even experimented one time, and I took all his National Geographics. You know how hard those are to get rid of? I took them and lined them up by date on shelves and put $5 choice on them. And I got buyers. They would pay $5 just not have to dig through the pile if they were missing one in the collection. So I got me into books and understanding books, and a lot of things happened. I think the Lord just led us and directed us the right way and provided every step of the way. But what I had to do to learn how to restore books was to take them apart. And, that may speak spiritually to you. God's working in your life. But I had to figure out how a book worked, what it looked like from different eras, what happened to it, because I was into book restoration, still am, not binding, but rebinding and restoring. So I looked at every book, and still do today. What does it need? Why did it fall apart? And what can we do to make it better than the first time? So that's kind of our goals there. Functional, presentable, as close to the original as possible. Sometimes that last one doesn't happen at all because it just wasn't a practical idea to begin with. There are very, very rare books out there that are very rare because they were poorly made in the very beginning and they fell apart. And there's nothing you can do about that. But there's other books that just get abused. Through life, they get tossed in the closet and then go up into the attic, and out of sight, out of mind is the adage, you know. But the truth is, they dissolve and they get destroyed because every nocturnal creature of the world that look at those as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, there's the glues, the dyes, the leathers, and the paper. Oh, it makes a full life for a rat. You know, cockroaches, anything else that loves paper, it's theirs. But, you know, to make that book functional and presentable requires it to be in your presence, in a place where you can display it without having to worry about it looking bad, right? So you put it in the attic and you put it away and you think you're doing it a favor, and you're not. So we go with that focus. We started doing the book restoration full time about 15 years ago. I believe it was about 15 years ago. Lost track, could be 20. And we went full time on it in the fact that that was our only income at that point. And we had young kids that, our oldest at that time, our two oldest were already out of the house, but our son, Chris, who some of you may know, was there with me, and he had already learned bookbinding. So we hired our kids, said, you know, you guys work hard with us and we'll make something of this business. So we had basically a crew of, I think at that time, 2 daughters and a son working with us. And then the little ones, as they grew up, they started getting involved in it. We had 8 children altogether. 6 of them had been actively involved in our business. We developed ideas, a lot of it off of old books, other things just creations of our own. Chris is an artist and a great creator of, sometimes Chris will do something different than what I was thinking he was going to do. It's always better than what I was thinking. So I just love that in him. But we ended up with a good business. We now have 7 employees, and 4 of them are bookbinders. So the rest are in the office, and we try to keep the bookbinders busy. So we work hard at not necessarily promoting the business, but customer service, letting people know when they call what we can do and what we can't do. I learned a long time ago, never turn down a job you can do, and never accept a job you can't do. And learn as you go, and then once you're skilled at what you do, then you can promote it. I've done a lot of home business type things like that, and this is the one that finally stuck. You know, here is just some ideas of what we do. Some of the personal Bibles. This is actually a smooth goatskin, which don't use as much for personal Bibles, but to be able to just make a nice soft leather cover, and with a design in it. But let's take a look at the inside here, Margie. Just open that up and show them the flexibility of this. This is leather lined. This is a lambskin lining with goatskin on the outside. You can basically turn that over like a pretzel. Not that you should, but you can if you want, and the cover survives. You know, it doesn't crease in the middle or anything like that. It does very good. That type of Bible we basically adopted, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago maybe. This is another, that one leather lined too. Yeah, that's a leather lined one also. You get designs on the front. Some of the designs are templates. Some of them we've created ourselves. We're learning how to create templates to make our own design work, right? Aside from the Bibles also, we do antiquarian books. This is one that fascinating little book. It's called Mystic Romances of the Blue and the Gray. So it's a Civil War book written around the turn of the century, but it was paperback. And the back was really messed up. The front of it was good enough to be able to take the design out of there and embed that design and match it in color with the leather. So we have people, they'll see that sometimes on our website or wherever, and they'll say, can you do that with my book? I said, it's got to be the right book to do that. You know, we do embedding though. A lot of times embedding part of the old into the new to make it look good. We've got, this is one we just did. Everything's a one-off, by the way, in our shop. Every customer generally has 1 book or 2 books, but this is done. That's a purple Sokoto goatskin,
And the purple edges was because it was an Eastern Star Bible, a little pocket Bible, and that was one of their colors they used for their edges. So, but we just got an opportunity to rebind it. These are ones we just did for show. But there are some of these Bibles that have just been completed, and I brought those into you because this is awesome. This has an awesome history behind it in a way. This is from 1638. So we do the antiquarian books. 1638 is a King James, a Cambridge printed King James, which basically the printers were different from Cambridge, but Cambridge University commissioned the printers to print it and bind it. This is its fourth binding. Yeah, didn't have a title page in it. This book started 1638. Parts of it are dated 1634 that were added to it because the publisher had it originally. It went through a period, I think there's a date in there that says newly bound, in other words, bound again, in 1646, which is kind of odd because that's not a very long time to have it rebound. That usually happens when there's a need to make the book smaller. So this book was larger. It was cut down to size, probably to take a ship voyage somewhere, probably America. And so they made it smaller, just a bit. Yeah, they also combined it with when they had it bound, with another psalter in the back, and a book of common prayer in the front, which may have been in it originally, but maybe it didn't make the cut, as they say. So it's in there now. So a hodgepodge of things happened to this, but the basic book was 1634, rebound in 1646, and somewhere in the early 19th century, 1830s, 1840s, it was bound again, and we could tell that because of the way the headbands were made, things like that. And you can see underneath there, you see, oh, this is not original to the original. So so we went through that, and then the customer sends it to us, and from that binding, and we can look at the binding and know what period it is, and we give him suggestions for rebinding it. So he chose one of our styles. We would have preferred doing it something a little different, but he chose it in one of our styles that we have that he could get a lot of tooling design and everything on that would represent something from the 17th century. So, and that's a goat skin. Yeah, hand-sewn head and tail bends there. The difference is with these older Bibles, we will upgrade them to a new binding method, which is what's always used today, which is case binding. Case binding is where you make the cover separate from the book. The old ones were called, I think, inboard bindings, where they stretched the leather over the spine, and it was all glued down to the spine. And then when you opened it, it had a curve to it that for a while that leather on the spine would be just fine. And then when the glue dries out and it starts to make a V shape, well, the spine would follow that, and pretty soon it splits right down the middle. That's what happened with this one. So anyway, we corrected some things. We found some things that weren't good. Everything that's old is not better. Okay? When you find something that's older, but it does not really work well, when I know it's been rebound several times. So but it's still, we looked at that and said, this needs to be done in a more modern way that works, because you don't want this to happen another 50 years. Same thing that happened before. So we're sensitive about that. We've got some other books here that are older that we've restored. Just putting a spine on this. That's from quite a while ago. It's a Ben Franklin book, but trying to keep the original boards, so we put a spine on it. Here is a German one that's going out Monday also. German Bible. We just replaced the spine only and kept all the gold. The customer requested that we not really do much at all for the cover. So we didn't shine it up or anything, but we did put a spine on it, and then we put the old spine back on because there's new leather underneath that. So it works well for restoring books. We are coming up with here's an interesting one. This is one that one of our binders designed this. It's Joe Silva, one of our binders. We call this the Silva Twist. This is taking goat skin, wetting it, twisting it, and then dyeing it. And the different places in the leather will repel the dye more because there's more stretch in the leather in that particular place. And you get something that looks like a wood grain or tiger oak, as you might say. Yeah, so we can do that with leather. I want to show you, this is, yeah, that's a goat skin. That's one too, but listen here. Let's look at this one. This is a 3/4 leather binding, basically leather on the spine, leather on the quarters, marbled paper on the board. I did something that was different than what we normally do. I do use marbled paper a lot, but I used old marbled paper for this one. It had a polish to it, and it was still supple, and it was taken off of end pages of a larger book, and so we used that. And we got it's a nautical book, so it looks like hurricanes coming through, so you're welcome to look at that later on here. I want to show you what we're working on right now. This is our new thing coming up. We've had, that's a...
You guys familiar with the ESV study Bible?
That's a modern ESV study Bible that originally had a horrid binding on it, all right? Brand new, all right? And they don't do good bindings on this, but they have improved on some of them. But we just did something different. We have one of our binders has been playing with the idea of doing 3D imprinting. He's been working with it at home. He's got his own, and he has started working. We commissioned him to do some things for us just to see how it worked. So this is actually combining genuine leather, calf skin, with 3D imprinting plates or blocks that are underneath there. And getting some really interesting results. We're just about ready to market this in that particular size, but we also are working on a large family Bible size. We didn't bring that because it's so blasted heavy. Neither of us wanted to lift it. We didn't even want to lift it together.
It's Victorian style, but we haven't actually announced it
Yeah.
yet, and we will for Labor Day.
Yeah. So we're getting ready for the Christmas season, which is something a little bit different. I am a simple guy. I like simple bindings, but some of our customers, they just like wild and crazy, you know. So that's one that kind of, as close as we can get right now, mimics the Victorian Bibles, the big gaudy look from the 19th century. Yeah. That's a standard Bible with goatskin on it, hand dyed. Some of our leathers are hand dyed, some of them are not. But you know, there's an importance to this, particularly with the family Bibles. Family Bibles actually started really officially around 1790s. Okay, when they started putting notes, places in Bibles for putting your family information in. Before that, you can find many early King James Bibles, early Geneva Bibles, and any blank page on them, they had family information written on them. And finally, the printers said, you know, why don't we just print something for them? They're just messing up their covers or their pages, and they're writing stuff all over the place, you know. So they made family pages specifically for that, and that became the actual norm during the Victorian era, where there were always family pages in the Bibles. People send us Bibles sometimes or drop them off at our shop, and they say, I've never even opened this, I'm afraid to. And they don't even know there's family pages inside it. And they're just thrilled when they find them. They're also not thrilled when they find a rat's nest inside that Bible they never opened up. That happened a couple weeks ago. They brought the Bible to us. It looked like a normal Bible that needed normal repair, which was about $600. We opened it up, and there was a tunnel going all the way through middle of the Old Testament and through the New Testament that they didn't know was there. I mean, I'm talking about a 4-inch, 3-inch. I don't want to exaggerate it. 3-inch hole drilled through by a rat. Now, what I don't know is how the rat got in there in the first place, but it managed, and it was kind of, I couldn't help them. I didn't know what to do, but you know, that is the importance of keeping these things in a safe place, but also understanding, particularly with Bibles, that you could go to England and you could say, I want my Bible rebound. They say, why? Just buy another one. Well, it's American tradition, and has been for many, many years, to make your Bible a keepsake for the family, with family notes, family information, and your personal notes. Your Bible that you carry to church with you is one of a kind if you've got notes in it. And it is a great family heirloom. So most of our business comes from the Bibles. 80% of it is Bibles. And it is because people want to hand it down to the next generation, because they want their children and their grandchildren to know what they believed. And it's a very important thing, keeping the family together. And that's one way of doing it is through Bibles. And Bibles, you realize the Bible is the more printed than any other Bible in the world, more read than any other book in the world. There's never been anything like it. There's entire publishing companies devoted to just Bibles. That's all they print. You can look at the history of Bible printing in English, and it's from 1525 to today, there's, I think, over 2,300 different Bibles published, except they did not include something, and that is the one you see the most often, are the old family Bibles that Holman Company actually did not produce. They encouraged them, and they were done by publishers all over the United States, and they were sold door to door for people like you and me, rural families. A salesman would come to your door and show you an opportunity to buy a Bible. And those are all published, and there's an identifier on those to know which ones those were. But they're all over the place. Thousands of different printers and publishers that never made it into the chronicles of the history of English Bibles in America. And they are just by the thousands everywhere still. Those are worth saving because they're from your family. So it's neat to be a part of your family and that we're helping hand down that information. So be happy to talk to you more about that, but love you guys and appreciate you all that you do here for this community. And we have business cards, so you're welcome to come up here and look at these if you want and take a card. Thank you so much for your time.
We need to take a vote. Susie Dyke's term is ending this year, and I need to know if there's any nominations from the floor. If not, we need a motion from the floor about Susie's term for the next 3 years. If you're in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Those not in favor? Okay, the motion passed. And I need to have, we're going to decide who the oldest man, oldest woman, youngest child, most family members, and the farthest traveled. Susie.
Well, I went by the registration sheet that you signed, so if this isn't right, don't blame me. The oldest man present is Robert Huff at 93. And the oldest woman present is Clara Ryder at 92. The youngest person that had signed in was Brady, I can't read my writing, Warinsky? Warnsky? Okay. And the most descendants here of 4 is the Mendel family. Oh, okay, okay. So then, would it be the McCain family? With 3, I think? You have 3? Okay. Okay. Okay, the McCain family. Okay. And the person who came from the furthest away is Sharon Sumter from San Antonio, Texas. You can't, huh?
We'll write that down for Candy.
I've got it written down over here.
I'm going to have Mark pass the plate. We don't have any way of making money to buy the plaques and things that we do, so we just pass the plate every year. If you want to make a donation, that would be great. I wanted to ask everyone that received something today to come up here after the meeting's over and we'll take a group picture. So, and also after the meeting, you can talk to Eric and his wife about the bookbinding, and there are refreshments out in the hallway too. So you're welcome to stay as long as you want. And I'll ask Tim Stewart to come up and give the benediction, and then our meeting will be ended.
Can we take just a moment and bow our heads? Dear Savior, we're thankful for the opportunity to gather together. And as much as we've been a part of this community, Lord, you set it before us. And you set before us days and hours and weeks. Lord, let us go from this place, Lord, with you in mind, your purpose and your will. Help us, oh God, that we might be better, do better, Lord, and encourage others. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.